All right, more Cody Rhodes talk here. This next story, as it is one from Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful Select on Tuesday regarding the Cody Rhodes, The Rock, Roman Reigns situation. All of this high-filled drama leading up to the WrestleMania 40 press conference on Thursday in Las Vegas. From this report, it is one that essentially states that Cody Rhodes may or may not have tried to warn WWE that the reaction that the fans gave this whole segment last week on SmackDown was going to happen. Cody Rhodes may have been the one that warned him. And here's the quote that Cody Rhodes reportedly told WWE that the reaction to the segment, uh, quote, wouldn't be the desired one, unquote. But of course, Cody, the company man that he is, went ahead, did everything. And now we are in the situation where hashtag we want Cody is everywhere, Rocky sucks is everywhere, and WWE has a dilemma on their hands leading into WrestleMania 40. Like we said, we will know the main events. Surely we will know exactly what they're going to be on Thursday at the press conference. Otherwise, why are you doing the press conference? But it is interesting here, isn't it, that Cody tried to warn him. He tried to tell him that this was the reaction that was going to happen. And for whatever reason, I'm not sure how WWE did not see this, or maybe they did see it and just realized, hey, there was nothing they were going to be able to do about it. But I just don't know how you could have thought if it was, and this is why I keep looking at this thing. There's no way, in my opinion, this was a Triple H planned thing. And you guys have seen the reports, I'm sure. Talking about how whether it was The Rock pushing for this, whether it was TKO, was it Ari Emanuel, people like that, were they the ones pushing for this? We don't know for sure, but from everything you read, I've got to believe this was not Triple H's idea of getting Cody Rhodes to WrestleMania 40 on this path. They can still pivot, which we talked about in a previous video. Maybe they do pivot at the press conference on Thursday and decide to go Cody versus Rollins on night one, Rock versus Reigns on night one. The winners meet on night two, which would lead you down the path of knowing you're going to get Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, whether you could think about all the different matchups, Rock versus Cody, Reigns versus Rollins, all that, but you're getting Cody versus Reigns because any other any other pairing would not give fans too much pleasure in that, unless of course you did Cody versus The Rock. But why would Cody try to finish the story against The Rock? I'm not sure. So yeah, I think you would definitely get that, but it's just how did they get themselves in this mess in the first place? Knowing that even Cody himself, according to this report, tried to warn them that there was going to be the backlash that there was. And it could just be as simple as perhaps they just underestimated how strong the backlash would be. And it's very clear that they underestimated it because there's no way in your right mind you would be able to pull that off, go in and say, all right, we're going to do this. And, we don't expect any backlash. There's no way you could do that and feel like this is a positive mood or move. And I also don't mind the fact that there are some people thinking, well, they're just going to always put The Rock out there and position him as a heel. That also makes no sense because why would you do that? You have their top heel, been your top heel in the company for years, Roman Reigns, WrestleMania main event, and you want to take one of your, the guy who the last couple times he's come back, he's been gotten a bigger pop than anyone on out there in terms of just a babyface reaction to Rock. And all of a sudden you're going to bring him out and you're going to turn him into a heel for no reason whatsoever. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So I can't imagine that was the plan. So everything regarding, the speculation with WWE trying to push Cody as the new Daniel Bryan and all of this stuff. And, something else the report added was that this essentially, for everyone thinking that this was kind of the work and this was the plan from the start, that basically no one else is sort of clued in on in terms of, that being the case. This is definitely one where I think you can read into everything that this was not the plan from the start. Something changed somewhere along the way. We don't know exactly when that happened, but I mean, even the reports out there that are saying that, this was essentially set in stone back in early January. It's my question then would be, well, why is Cody pointing at Roman Reigns after he wins the Royal Rumble? Is it nothing more just as a red herring to go back to Seth Rollins? How does that make any sense either? It doesn't. So there's just so many illogical things about this to where it's not that they can't get around them. It's just my question is, why did you do it in the first place? And like I said, maybe it's a power struggle. Maybe there is something, succession like thing going on behind the scenes to a different extent, where you just got power struggles everywhere. Where this party's trying to get a little more, and look, maybe it was a TKO thing, maybe it's Ari Emanuel, maybe there's a lot more to it than we know, but clearly I just don't think this was something that probably Cody Rhodes expected. I think that's obvious at this point. Definitely not something fans were expected, because after he won the Rumble to become the fourth back-to-back Rumble winner in history, joining Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, and Shawn Michaels, three huge names in wrestling history. Um, why would he hand that off to someone else who hasn't wrestled a match in over a decade, and he's had no affiliation with on screen at all? Like, why? Why would Cody do that? That's the problem here. And also, it's the booking of the segment. And so if Cody did try to warn WWE, and he knew the language here of Cody saying all this in the promo that he said last week on SmackDown, and then just adding it to make it absolutely clear, the line not at WrestleMania. So for anyone else, I think, that thinks this was a work from the start, and Cody's still going to get Roman in WrestleMania, just sit back and relax, it's okay. Why on earth would you add that in there? It just doesn't make any sense why you would put that line in there. If you take that line out, if Cody says everything he said and he just doesn't add that part, right? If you twist it a different way, and you're still setting up The Rock versus Reigns, would the backlash still be pretty rough? Yeah, because it's the same situation. Cody would still be standing it over, but you would at least give yourself an out, knowing that Cody never said the phrase "not at WrestleMania." But now it's like, well, how do you justify it? And I know you can, just ignore logic, and you can just work around it in a couple different ways. And ultimately, I think that's what they're going to do, probably starting with the press conference on Thursday. But it didn't make any sense from the start. And maybe Cody knew that going in, and maybe that was part of the reason he warned them. He's like, hold on a second, this ain't going to be good. The fans are not going to, do what you think they're going to do here. Like, they are going to completely revolt, and that's what's happened. And so, WWE has only themselves to blame for this situation. So they'll do what they have done in the past, probably, and that is try to lean into it, and sort of make you think that this was the plan from the start, or maybe not, guys. Maybe not. Maybe it's just as simple as we go in this press conference and The Rock versus Roman Reigns is announced for night 2. Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins is announced for night 1, and that's that. And if that happens, if you think the revolt is bad now, it's going to get worse. So I just don't see that being an option. I think they're going to pivot here. I think they have to. I just don't think they have a choice, given kind of what is going on here. Because if they keep dragging this out, if this goes beyond WrestleMania and so forth, I don't know. I don't think they're going to get the desired effect that they want for Cody Rhodes finishing his story if they keep dragging this thing out further and further and further. I saw some people say, well, they'll just go finish it at WrestleMania 41. If this story is still going on WrestleMania 41, I'm taking the book back. Like, you got to return it to the library. Like, this thing cannot continue to go on until WrestleMania 41. They cannot do this for a whole another year. They can't do it. So, like, many people, probably myself included, wondered if they could even get back to this point after last year, when everyone was kind of sold that Cody Rhodes was going to win this thing last year. And think about how deflated people were, not to this level of backlash, but like, people were pissed. They were not happy after, he lost last year. And you're going to try to sell him on another year after this. I don't see it. I don't think that happens. So we'll see what happens. But again, for this report, I thought was interesting with from Fightful Select about Cody Rhodes trying to warn WWE about the backlash to this potential Rock versus Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania 4.